Andariki namaskaramulu. Today is again another good day for all of us that we are going to start with a new topic, that is Upanishads by our academic director, CSR Prabhu Garu. You already had a few lectures from him. Now we will start the session with Vande Mataram by Chala Chittibabu Garu.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Alayaj Sitalam, Sasya Syamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajosna pulakitayaminim pullakusumita drumadala shobhinim suhasinim sumadhura bhashinim sukhadam varadam mataram vande mataram. Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. Let us request Jayashree Garu to chant Prarthana, please.
Yes, sir. Meditate for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Sit straight. Three times Omkaram. Om. 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 Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannotivi Siddhasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinamavitriyavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatye Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Guruve Na Guru Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasmi Guru Mam Pahi Guru Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakrutim Adharam sarvavidyanam hayagrivamupaस्महे Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti मूर्तिभेदविदायिने व्योमव्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।
ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు. Now let us request CSR Prabhu garu to start the webinar, please. Namaskaram Prabhu garu.
Namaskaram.
So may I request you to start the webinar, please?
Om नमो भ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो भ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानघनप्रत्यगर्भो सोऽहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। Friends, from today onwards we will be delving deep into the philosophical aspects of the Vedas. Till yesterday you have seen the what is called the Karmakanda perspective of the Vedas. Now today onwards we will delve deep into what is called the Jnana Kanda. The Vedas have four parts: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So the last part, Upanishad, is called Vedanta. It is the Jnana Kanda, which is the knowledge, wisdom dimension of the entire Vedas. The Vedas are infinite in size. They are lost, 90% are lost, and whatever is there, we have 8 shakhas today, of which for each of these shakhas we have the Upanishads attached to them. So each shakha has Upanishads and one or more Upanishads, and we have lost original Vedic text over centuries for most of the shakhas. But some of Upanishads, totally there are Upanishads. I am having a book having all 108 Upanishads with me here. So this book is Ashtottara Shata Upanishadaha. The name of the book itself is Ashtottara Shata Upanishadaha. So in this book, all the 8 Upanishads original text is given. Of course, it is in Telugu script. It is originally in Devanagari nowadays, but Telugu script is what we are using right now. And In the 108 Upanishads, around 46 Upanishads are the Vedanta Upanishads. They are pertaining to the philosophical discourse, the sum and substance of the Vedas in terms of the philosophical aspect. And in the remaining categories, there are Yoga Upanishads, around 20 of them. And then we also have the Vaishnava Upanishads dealing with Lord Vishnu Narayana as Parabrahman. And then we also have the Shaiva Upanishads. Then we also have Shaktaya Upanishads like Saraswati Upanishad and Lakshmi. Later, the most important or what is principal Upanishads are pertaining to the first 10. Are Isha, Kena, Katha, Maitreya, and Brahadaranyaka and Shvetashveta. Shvetashveta is considered as 11th. But these are the principal Upanishads which are studied extensively by one and all in terms of the content, in terms of the importance of the philosophical content. Isha Upanishad today we will be studying. And then Kena Upanishad is also a small size. Is large, is profound. Mundaka, Mandukya, Aitreya we study day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we will study Mandukya Upanishad. In the advanced course, some more Upanishads like Mundaka Upanishad, Aitreya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad is quite large. And the largest is Brahadaranyaka Upanishad. Now the word Upanishad simply means sitting near, like you are all sitting near with me. So we are also indulging in what is called Upanishad discussion. That is, questions and answers are raised and answered. These questions can be raised either by students or by within the text itself. Students of the teacher who are sitting near the teacher will raise these questions. And these questions are not ordinary questions. They are extraordinary questions. They are profound, most profound philosophical questions. The most profound philosophical questions are like, what is this universe? How did it come? How did it get created? Is there a creator or not? If the creator is there, then who is the creator? How is the creator? Etc., etc., etc. And similarly, what is this mind? How does it work? Like in the Kena Upanishad, there are questions like, what makes the mind work, and so on. So it's very profound. In fact, in the whole world, there is nothing more profound than the Upanishads in terms of philosophical discourse. So their world, Upanishads are the most famous philosophical discussions or discourses whose summary is given in Bhagavad Gita. The summary of the Upanishads in a very simplified, easy, pleasant, proper manner is given in the Bhagavad Gita, which also we will be covering. But the scholarly summary of the Upanishads is given in the Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutras are written by Badarayana, who is interpreted as Vyasa himself. The Upanishads are before Vyasa. They belong to an age which is a little post-Vedic and much earlier to the Vyasa Mahabharata period. We don't know exactly, but it will be of the order of 10,000 years BC. Because we have the description of Bhrigu, who is the main character in Taittiriya Upanishad, going on from Brahmavarta, which is the border of Haryana with Rajasthan, to Iran via Gujarat. So this happened around 10,000 years ago. And so we can say, in fact, the characters, the rishis who delivered Upanishads, or who are the principal characters in the Upanishads, they are historical characters. They are not fictitious like in other Abrahamic religious scriptures. They are all historical. Uddalaka, who is there in the Kathopanishad. His house is found in today. I went there in Brahmavarta area, which is the border of Haryana with Rajasthan, near Rewadi. So similarly, Bhrugu's house is identified where it was. It's near a mountain called Dausa Hill in the border of Haryana and Rajasthan in Brahmavarta area. So these people, they really existed. They were great teachers, thinkers, philosophers, and they delivered deep philosophical outcome thought, which is recorded in the Upanishads. Mostly it is prose, but it is also poetry sometimes, with or without this swara. The Vedas contain this swara, like high pitch, low pitch, medium pitch. Purusha eva idagam sarvam yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam. So this is like singing. Vedas are to be delivered in a singing mode. Whereas the prose is there even in some of the Vedas, like Yajurveda has prose. And the Upanishads are mostly prose, but sometimes they also have the poetry with or without swara. Mostly it is without swara, but sometimes it is with swara. So Veda has 4 parts, as I said. Samhita. Samhita comprises of the suktas, Purusha Sukta, Sri Sukta, Narayana Sukta, Rudradhyaya, etc., which we chant in our religious rituals. In fact, all the religious rituals of Hinduism have Vedic mantras in them, whether it is marriage or whether it is Upanayanam or whether it is any other ritual. They are taken, the original core mantra is taken from the Vedas only and added with many other late Puranic or Shastric slokas. Slokas don't have pitch. Like Bhagavad Gita slokas are not having swara. They're just continuous text in poetic form, the sloka form. All the verses in the Vedas are called mantras. All the verses in outside Veda are called slokas. And the word Shruti is to be used for the Vedas, including the Upanishads, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. So Upanishad is a philosophical derivative of the Samhita. Even though it is later and derivative, it is given the status of Shruti, equal to the Samhita. So when Shankaracharya or other top teachers refer to Shruti, they mean the Upanishad or they mean the Veda itself. So though the Upanishads are later appendages to the Vedas, the fact remains that Upanishads are considered as part of the Vedas, as part of the Shruti. So if you remember, we have heard this very popular sloka, Shruti Smriti Purana Malayam Namami Bhagpadam Shankar. Means we prostrate Shankaracharya, who is the abode of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, all the 3, and of course the 4th dharmas. So these 4 are the core knowledge repositories in Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. And outside Sanatana Dharma itself, even the Western philosophers like George Bernard Shaw or Aldous Huxley and so many others are there. Even people like Einstein himself, they have studied the Upanishads because Upanishads contain very profound statements on the nature of creation. Now, what I want you to realize is that today we have 2 different knowledge streams or knowledge systems. One is the Western knowledge system or knowledge stream, and other is the Indian knowledge system or knowledge stream. So, Indian knowledge system is Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, in which our Vedas, Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasa, Karma Shastra, and various other Shastras going to more than 25,000 Shastras exist. In the Western knowledge system, which we are studying in schools and colleges, it is based on subjects like science, mathematics, etc. So today we have two different streams of knowledge. One is the modern Western knowledge system, other is the ancient Indian knowledge system. But previously, before this British conquest of India, colonization of India around 1740 onwards, there was no such two different systems. There was only one system. The two are not there, only one is there, and that is the Vedas, Vedic knowledge system. And there was no English language in India, it was only Sanskrit. And Sanskrit was a global interlingua communication language. And until the British replaced with English and French replaced with French. In all the French colonies, we have French, and all the English colonies, we have English. So before this colonization happened, there was only Sanskrit. Of course, the Arab colonization also took place. The Arabic was imposed on all the Arab colonies. So the Christian religious conversions were aimed at creating a Western Christian colonization of the whole globe. And the Arabic conquests and wars and conversions and destruction was aimed at creating an Arabic colonization of the whole world. So now in India, we have the ancient Vedic system of knowledge, which was prevalent till the British period. And during the British period, they have issued government orders to stop all knowledge acquisition, pedagogy, learning and teaching in Sanskrit or Tamil or Telugu or Hindi or any other language, except English. They issued Indian Education Act orders in 1817, which says that any education other than English is illegal and not recognized. It is to be abandoned. So all these other education systems like Vedic education, Sanskrit education, Telugu education, all were banned, legally prohibited, and very few people were following them till today. So till today, we have the Vedic scholars who are very few compared to the rest of the society. But previously, what I wanted to realize is before this mischief was indulged in, was enacted by the British, there was no such dichotomy. There was only one education system, and that was Vedas. So the science, philosophy, religion, culture, everything was included in the Vedas and Vedic education system, which started with the four Vedas, then the Upavedas and the Vedangas and the Darshanas, and so on. So within the Vedas comes the last part is Vedanta, which is the Upanishads. I hope this matter is very clear. The Upanishads are the last part of the Vedas. That's why they are called Vedanta. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that today we have the scientific domain of perspective of knowledge, which is valid knowledge and which is accepted, which works. So I will spend a few minutes on the scientific perspective of the reality. In this course of Sanatana Dharma, which I designed and I organized the speakers and the flow and all that, it has got the scientific dimension as the main emphasis. Please understand this. There may be many other courses, many other teachers who are not teaching anything about scientific dimension or scientific approach. They will be teaching about traditional Vedic knowledge. Like till yesterday, you have heard Krishna Murari Tripathi ji, who is a Ghanapati. He is in Banaras Hindu University. He also learned English and is able to communicate in English, which is a very rare thing. Most of the Ghanapatis cannot speak English. They live in their own world of Sanskrit and their local language. So what I'm trying to say is that we are now living in the world of English-based knowledge, Western education system, and we are living in the world of science, and therefore we have to approach anything in the terms and terminology and the reference framework of science itself. So therefore, in this course, even though it is called Sanatana Dharma course, we are following the scientific methodology. So today onwards, though till yesterday you may not have got that scientific orientation, because Krishna Murari Tripathi ji is a Vedic Pandit, he has not possibly studied science. But in my case, it's not like that. I have studied both. I have studied science. I have two hands. I have one hand in science. I retired as Scientist G, a Director General of National Informatics Center, which is the highest possible post in science of computers and IT in this country. After 28 years of service in NIC. Before that, I was in US. I wrote a large number of books in computer science, which are textbooks. And I also wrote books in the Vedas and research, and I am teaching the course on Sanatana Dharma comprising the Vedas and Upanishads, etc. So now let us look at the perspective of science. So among all sciences, physics is the fundamental science, most fundamental. It gives the perspective of the universe. All other sciences are built over physics. So in classical physics, in Newtonian physics, we had four fundamental entities. If you ask what is reality, so the answer which we get is the reality or absolute reality or Brahman is made up of four parts. The word Brahman refers to the ultimate absolute reality, the totality. Brahat, Brahat means huge, the big picture, the environment, the ecosystem, the universe, the entire thing is called Brahman. So what is that Brahman? That question arises. So the classical physics perspective is four fundamental entities exist: matter, energy, space, and time. So all the four were fundamental. They are not relative. They are absolute. They exist independent of anything else. Space exists, time exists, matter exists, time exists. According to Newton, what is called the classical physics, these four are fundamental substances. So matter can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only get transformed. You have studied all this, I'm sure, in your school and college education. Energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. So law of conservation of matter, law of conservation of energy. And then space and time are absolute. So we have a referential space framework with Cartesian space, XYZ coordinates. And we have the time framework is absolute, linear time going forward and always forward, forward, forward. So this is the classical physics model of the universe or Brahman or everything, theory of everything, in terms of the reality, the absolute reality. Now, very interesting developments. Of course, the matter, the ultimate indivisible unit of matter is called atom. And till 1956, the atom was considered as indivisible. But the Rutherford model of planetary structure of atom comprising of proton, neutron, electrons rotating around proton, neutron nucleus, that model has demolished the indivisibility of atom. Atom is divisible, atom has particles. And the particle physics kept on growing to such an extent that we have hundreds of particles today, not just three particles, proton, neutron, electron. So physics grew very fast, but around same time after 1950s, 1960s maybe, very major developments took place. That is, there are two new branches of physics which started. Those two branches are considered as modern physics: atomic physics and relativity. Atomic physics are quantum theory, quantum mechanics. There are no PPTs. I don't use PPTs. I use direct speech. You can take the recording later. So the atomic physics, the modern physics contained atom and its components as various particles, going up to 400 particles today, from 3 particles which were identified in 1950s. And what they found is in the subatomic level, the Newton's laws do not work. Like you cannot determine whether a particular particle like electron is only a particle or a wave. It can be wave also and particle also. It's called the dual nature of matter and energy. Like if you take electrons, if you perform an experiment in a particular way, they will appear as particles. If you perform an experiment in another way, they will appear as waves. Electron wave diffraction, you can take the experiment. And similarly, light is, we all know it is waves, electromagnetic waves. But there are some experiments, photoelectric effect, where you can see them as particles, photons. So every particle is also a wave, dual nature of matter and energy. And there's a principle of uncertainty. That means we cannot determine the position and velocity of electron at the same time. So all the laws of physics which are working in the mechanical world, in terms of our cars, vehicles, aeroplanes, this Newtonian physical universe, they fail to work in this subatomic particular layer of physical behavior. Now they came out with many new theories called quantum theory, quantum mechanics, where these unknown and new and novel features were accommodated. And finally, they realized that it depends on the observer. If the observer performs a particular experiment in a particular way, then that particular substance will appear as particles, otherwise it will appear as waves. So they accepted the importance of what is called observer or consciousness. Both are same. So consciousness determines whether it is particular wave, whether it is having velocity or whether it is having position, so on and so forth. So that is where the quantum physics, quantum mechanics stuck. And coming to the macroscopic level, this is the microscopic universe. Newtonian classical physics will work for practical world, not for the microscopic universe or for the astrophysical universe. Astrophysical means macroscopic universe, like Earth, Sun, planets, stars, black holes, and so on. The macroscopic astrophysical level, which Einstein dealt with. There also the Newtonian physics fails. They have done a lot of experiments like Michelson-Morley experiment to determine that the speed of light is constant, and that is the basic premise on which Einstein derived what is called the special theory of relativity, where space and time are shown to be relative. That means if an observer is traveling at a particular velocity v, let us say we are all traveling at the velocity of light, velocity of Earth. We are on Earth, so we are traveling at velocity of Earth. So whatever reality we see, space and time in terms of distance between 2 points in space or the time interval between two events, is with respect to the velocity of Earth. But if you travel in a rocket which is having very, very high speeds, then your space and time both will change. That is what Einstein propounded. It looked very fantastic, it's impossible, but it has been proven. So they have taken atomic clocks in very high speed jets and found time actually changes, reduces, if you travel at a very high speed. So he gave an equation called root of 1 minus v square by c square is a factor with which space and time change according to the velocity v of the observer. So he further extended it to arrive at what is called the general theory of relativity, where he proved that space-time framework is one and the same. There is a continuous space-time Minkowski 4-dimensional space-time framework, and which can expand or contract. And finally, he proved that matter and energy are one and the same. That is E is equal to mc square. In an atom bomb, if you explode 1 gram of matter, it will result in energy equivalent to mc square, 1 into c square. C is velocity of light. Velocity of light is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So 9 into 10 to the power of 16 meters per second or joules or watts. So much of energy will be coming out if you explode 1 gram of matter and convert to energy. So it is actually happened in atom bomb. Matter was converted to energy in Hiroshima and was burnt, and huge energy came. And the reverse of it, energy becoming matter, also happened in cosmic rays. It happens every day. The energy radiation coming from outside becomes particles in cosmic rays. So his theories, Einstein's theories, both special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity, have been proven, and they hold as standard even today. And velocity of light is said to be constant across all circumstances, cannot be exceeded. So in this equation, root of 1 minus v square by c square, you are at velocity v. C is the velocity of light. If v is equal to c, v square by c square is equal to 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So your space is 0 and your time is 0. If v is a fraction of c, proportionately your space will be reduced and time will be reduced. So why am I telling all this? I am telling all this to make you realize that in the relativistic and quantum theoretical world of modern physics, space and time are not absolute. They don't exist. If you travel at velocity of light, your space is 0 and your time is 0. They don't exist. So what exists then? The question arises, what is Brahman? So you have to get only one answer. That is, Brahman is that X, which is appearing as matter or as energy in different frameworks of observation. If you observe in a particular way, it will appear as matter, and you observe in a particular another way, it will appear as energy. Same reality. And it will be changing. So the space-time framework will be the experimental observation. So they have given equal importance to the observer, who is consciousness. So therefore, finally, they said there is the absolute reality is X, which is appearing on E or M, energy or matter, in different forms, depending on the observer. So why I'm telling all this is directly related to our Upanishads. I wrote an article of Advaita in terms of modern physics 30 years back. So what it says is that X, which is appearing as different forms of matter, different forms of energy, is called Brahman in the Vedantic Upanishadic parlance, and absolute reality. That Brahman, or the big picture, the only reality, the absolute reality. Space and time are relative, they don't exist. So this is already mentioned in our Upanishads. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, where the words cannot reach, the mind cannot grasp, desha kala janavachinnam, transcendent to space and time. That is called Brahman. What is that Brahman? Ultimate reality. We'll be studying Mandukya Upanishad tomorrow. Om Ityegaksharam Brahma. Brahman is Om. Om is a representation of Brahman. So Brahman is the ultimate absolute reality, that X, which appears as different forms of matter or different forms of energy, depending on the observer and the equipment the observer uses and the velocity at the observer travels, and so on and so forth. So the observer was also given a high status as consciousness. So finally, consciousness has been accepted. Now the consciousness, which is called Chit in Sanskrit, in Vedas and Upanishads, and the absolute Brahman is called Sat. Satakaranavat Nityam, there is a statement in the Vaiseshika Sutras. So Sat Chit together, Sat Chidananda, is experience of Supreme Being, God, Ishvara, whatever you want to call it. So this is a convergence between two different systems of knowledge, science and Vedanta. And there are a lot of books written by a lot of scientists on this aspect of physical interpretation of Vedanta. Many books are there. We can give you some references also, you can read later. Now we will get into the Upanishads proper. You can ask me questions after the finishing of my lecture. So the Upanishads are the ultimate philosophical text of the universe. The texts like Bible and Quran or other things, they're very, very crude and primitive and simple compared to the Upanishads, which are deepest philosophical and also convergent with scientific perspective of the universe. That's the point I was trying to make till now. I made that. So today we will be going into the Ishavasya Upanishad, which is the first Upanishad. If possible, we will also cover the Kena Upanishad after that. Among all the 108 Upanishads, the Ishavasya Upanishad is the first one. It is from the Yajurveda, Vajasaneya Samhita. Yajurveda has two parts, black and white, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. Krishna Yajurveda is what is being studied and chanted in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, and Krishna Yajurveda is, is our stand. Like I am a Krishna Yajurvedi. I'm sure most of you are who are from Andhra or Telangana, they are Krishna Yajurvedis. But those who are from Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu, they are the Shukla Yajurvedis. That is called Vajasaneya Shukla Yajurveda. So this Ishavasya Upanishad belongs to the Shukla Yajurveda, is attached to the Shukla Yajurveda. That is black and white, white is the Yajurveda. So it starts with the Shanti mantra. Let us meditate, close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's a very famous Shanti mantra. All the Upanishads starts with Shanti mantras and end with Shanti mantras. So the Yajurveda is Shanti mantra. So let us understand this Shanti mantra of the Ishavasya Upanishad, which is explaining the summary of the rest of the Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Om is Brahman, right? Om is Purna. That is Purna. Purnam Ada. Ada means Adi. That. Ada, that. Ida, this. Purna Midam. This is Purna. Also that is Purna. But this Purna came from that Purna. What does this mean? There is Om, which is absolute Nirguna Parabrahman, out of which the universe came, which is also totality, Purna, the manifest universe. And even though this universe came from that universe, that Brahman remains Brahman. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. It is not going to disappear. That means this universe is nothing but a manifestation of the Brahman. Even though this universe appears to exist as separate, it is not separate. It is a manifestation of the same Parabrahman, Om. This is what it means. Of course, there are more deeper meanings available. The concept of infinity, the concept of zero, all are interpreted from this great mantra of the Vedas. Now the Ishavasya Upanishad, Ishavasya Midagam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat. Ishavasya Midagam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat. In this universe, Jagat is universe, whatever little, Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat. Ishavasyam Idagam Sarvam. Idagam Sarvam Jagatyam Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat Idagam Sarvam. Ishavasyam. Whatever little, even an atomic level or subatomic level or the macroscopic astrophysical level of the whole universe is pervaded by the Lord, Ishvara, Isha. Now, what does it mean? It is already explained in the previous Shanti mantra. The Parabrahman is the ultimate truth, Om, and the manifest universe is only a manifestation, is a projection of that Parabrahman. Therefore, it will automatically comprise everything. Parabrahman will be spread in each and everything. Like mud is spread in each and every part of a pot. Gold is spread in each and every ornament. Even the ornaments change. Hundreds of ornaments, gold is the same. So the material cause. And there are two aspects. One is the Upadana Karana and the other is material cause. Upadana means from which something has come. Potter, unless the potter is there, pot cannot be created. Mud is also required, potter is also required. So two causes are there. The material cause and the causal cause, that is the maker. So in this case, both converge. The Ishvara Parabrahman Omkaram is Purna, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Avasishyate. Even though this Purna came from that Purna remains Purna. This is not easy to understand, but this is philosophy. I'm sure you all heard of this earlier. God and universe. Yavani che janinchu jagam yavani lopala nundulinamai yavani yandudindu. Parameswarude evvadu moola karanam evvadanadi majjalayudevvadu. Sarvamudanayayina vadevvadu. Vaninatma bhavune. Now, this is a universal player. I'll explain in English. From which the universe came. From whom the universe came. You can personify. It is not a person, but you are personifying it for your convenience. And having come out, it still remains in him or in it. So, Purnamada Purnamidam. It again dissolves into the same. Parameswarudevvadu, the supreme being. Moola karanam evvadu, the original cause. Because all phenomena in this universe have cause and effect chain. Every effect has a cause behind it. And that cause has another cause behind it, another cause behind it. So this cause and effect chain originally starts from one original cause, Moola Karana. Moola Karanam evvadanadi majjalayudevvadu. That which has no beginning, no middle, or no end. Sarvamudanayayina vadevvadu. That which is manifesting as everything. Ishavasyamidakam sarvam. Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Whatever little in this universe is just the manifestation of Isha, Ishvara. That being the case, don't try to grab somebody else's property or money, because it's neither yours nor his. It belongs, it is pervaded by Ishvara. Kurvanne eva karmani jijiveshechadak samaha evam tainanyadasti na karmana lipyate. Now, this mantra is giving a instruction on how we should live our life. First it said, don't grab anything from others or don't grab from the nature because it's not yours. It belongs to, it is spread and pervaded by the Supreme Being, Ishvara or Purusha or Brahman. All mean the same. In the Vishnu Sahasranama is given the equivalents. Avyaya, Purusha, Sakshi, Kshetrajno, Akshara Evacha, Yoga, Yoga Vidam. So all mean the same entity. Now, if you understand that same entity, which I have already explained in terms of physics, I have already explained in terms of philosophy, that same entity, Om, Parabrahman, Ishvara, Isha, if you realize that, then you don't see anything other than that. If there is nothing other than that, there is only oneness. Kammoha kashoka ekatvam anupashyataha. Another place, Upanishads says, how can there be misery, greed, jealousy for someone who sees oneness? That oneness is Isha, Ishavasyamidagam sarvam, yat kinchit jagatyam jagat, enat chaktera bhunjida magrudha kasya. So don't grab anything, it's not yours. Don't think it belongs to you. And also, then what you should do in your whole life? Purvaneheva karmani. So you do all your duties, fulfillment, responsibilities, fulfillment. As long as you live. Of course, the moment you die, you are liberated from all this nuisance and headache. Evan painanyate asti, na karma na lipyate. You have no attachment because you realize that it is all Ishvara, it is not yours. People think this is mine, that is mine, that is mine. It's all absolute nonsense. So if you perform all your actions with this knowledge that only one Ishvara pervades the whole universe and he owns, he exists, he manifests, or he or it, Brahman, Om, that's enough. That is your realization. In my lecture, on the first day itself, I am giving you the most profound knowledge. There is nothing left beyond this. The rest of the course will be repeating the same thing at lower levels. Even the previous lectures were at lower levels. They are not at this level of depth of philosophical, spiritual insight or intuition or realization. असूर्यनामते लोका अन्धेन तमसा कृता तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केच आत्महनो जना. If you don't realize this oneness, if you don't realize this one self-realization, Brahmajnanam, this is called Brahmajnanam, Brahma Vidya, supreme knowledge, self-realization, God realization, all means same thing, which I told just now, which the Upanishad told just now. And if you don't have this knowledge, you live in darkness. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. You have to come out of the darkness. And what is that darkness? Asuryanamate loka andhen tamasavrata. They live in worlds which are spread in deep darkness. So we all live in darkness. Ajnanam. Ajnanam timirandhasya jnanam tadevacha. So Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrichorma Amritangamaya. If you live in darkness, you are living in Asat and you are living in death. Mrichu. If you live in light, if you live in the knowledge of the reality of the Sat, then you are immortal. Amruto Amrutasya Putra. So that is moksha state. Right now, within your reach is moksha state, the infinite eternal Parabrahman, Om, Isha, Ishvara, all one and the same. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same. Whatever I told now, the same thing will be explained in detail again and again and again in various Upanishads, in various chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and even in Brahma Sutras, and even in the Ramayana, even in the Mahabharata, even in Srimad Bhagavad, even in all the 18 Puranas, even in the scriptures of other religions, but in a very crude, very incomplete, and very ununderstandable manner. So, what he's saying here, Surya Namate Loka Andhena Tamasavrta. So, people who live in dark worlds without light, Tamste Pretyavigachanti Ekech Atmahano Jana. They kill themselves. They are in death. Satoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mruchorma Amrutangamaya. So Mruchu, death, is continuously there. It is always happening. This very second, millions of things have died, are dying, and again millions of things are getting born. So, and millions of things are neither dying nor born, they are sustaining, continuing to live. So Srishti, Sthiti, Layam, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, they are three parts of one Parabrahman Om. They are not independent. They are three parts of the same Parabrahman Om. So you live in the world of death if you live in the world of ignorance, in darkness. Anejadekam manaso janiyo nevadeva apnuvan purvamatsat tadhavatonyanatyeti tishthat tasminnapo matarishva tadhati tadejati tannayjati taddure tadvantike tadantarascha bahischa tadupasasya sarvatah tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. So explaining that Parabrahman, tadejati, tannayjati, taddure, tadvantike, it is here, it is there, it is moving, it is not moving. The entire universe is a manifestation of Parabrahma. Schrödinger said Schrödinger's equation of wave mechanics is a representation of Maya. This is Maya. Whatever universe which appears is Maya. What is behind it, unmanifest, is Brahman. And I told you that E is equal to MC square, that X behind E and M. And combined with Chaitanyam Atma Sthiti, that is Chit, Satchidananda, that is Om, that is Parabrahman, that is only truth. And all the rest is a manifestation of the same. Therefore, it is falsehood. It is Maya. It appears to be real, but it is not real. We have seen many things in this world which appear to be real, like mirage, water in the desert, or water in roads of highways in summer. Water waves appear, but there is no water there. So similarly, many things, like you go to a movie hall to see the movie, some people die, some people are born, some people are dancing, and you also dance, you also weep, or you also jump, as if it is real. There's nothing there. It is just plain white screen. So this universe which appears is not real. Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam, Jivo Brahmayana Paraha. Adi Shankaracharya wrote the commentary to the principal Upanishad, Shake, Nakatha, Munda, Kamandu, Kaitreya, Daitreya, Brodharanyaka, and Shvetasve. And he has explained the Advaita Siddhanta, which is propounded right in the beginning in the Ishavasya Upanishad, which we have just mentioned. It is propounded also in the Mandukya Upanishad, we'll do tomorrow. यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं न ततो न विजुगुप्सते. Now he told the thing point blank. Yastu sarvani bhutani ateva bhudvijanataha. He who knows there is only one thing which is appearing as many. That means what? I, you, this, that, so many things which are appearing are actually only one. That is myself. Satchidananda, self-realization. Yastu sarvani bhutan atmanyevanupashyati. He who can realize, see clearly, all beings, the whole universe is within himself. This is brought out very strongly in the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga in the 11th chapter. He shows I am everything. It is also brought out in various other texts, like Avadhuta Gita by Dattatreya. My lectures are there in YouTube. Ashtavakra Samhita by Ashtavakra, and so on. Everywhere they bring out the same thing. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. If I realize that I am everything, I am you, I am my neighbor, I am my family member, I am my colleague, same, I am there, same, and he and I are same, or he and she and I are same, you and I are same, then how can I hate? Na vijugopsate, no hatred, no disgust. Actually, the frank truth is that we all hate each other. If we don't hate each other, there will be no wars. What is happening in Middle East, in Gaza Strip, what is happening in Ukraine? They hate each other to the core. Not only there, Americans hate Russians, Russians hate Americans, Chinese hate Indians, Indians hate Chinese, Pakistanis hate Indians, Indians hate Pakistanis. It's all endless. You hate your wife and your wife hates you. You hate your son hates you. And you hate your boss hates you. You hate your colleague hates you. But still, you are carrying on with your relationship, with misery, with burden, with too much of burden of responsibility. So what is the solution to this problem? Love. Love is the only solution. It's the opposite of hatred. If you want to overcome hatred, you have to bring love. If you want to overcome darkness, you have to bring light. If you want to overcome ignorance, you have to bring knowledge. So the Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, self-realization is that you realize yourself as one and the same as everyone, everything, not only every human being, everything. यच्च किंचित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयते पिवा अंतर्बहिश्च तत् सर्वं व्याप्य नारायण स्थितः. मंत्र पुष्पम. Everything is Narayana. I am Narayana. You are Narayana. Everything is Vishnu. Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Svapake cha Pandita Samadarshina. The Pandit, the knowledgeable people see equality in everything, in a dog, in an elephant, in a cow, in a human Brahmin or in a Chandala. It's one same consciousness. Chaitanya, Suddha Chaitanyam, Satchidanandam is pervading. Yastu Sarvani Atman Vashati Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam Tato na Vijugupsate. If you can realize that, then you will not have anger, hatred, disgust. Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmaiva Bhutvijanataha Tatra ko moha ko shokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. What a wonderful statement. Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmanyeva Abhut Vijanataha. He who knows, who realizes that all beings around you, all humans, all non-humans, all entities around you are you in you only. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshyate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshinaha. 6th chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः. If you can treat the other person equal to you, then you are liberated from misery. Kam mohaha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. How can there be moha, delusion, shoka, misery for a person who sees oneness? Kam moha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. Everywhere the same thing is told again and again and again, because it's so difficult to be established in. Maya covers you. Every second you are within Maya. Even right now we are within Maya. How much ever you may talk, you cannot come out of Maya. So even in the scriptures of other religions, the same thing is mentioned in a very different manner, sometimes very crude manner, and they may not understand. Thou shalt love thy Lord thy God with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy body, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Your neighbor may be your enemy, so love thy enemy. What does this mean? They can't understand. This is Atma Jnanam, self-realization. That is what is being explained here. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutjana vijanataha tatra kam moha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. The kingdom of God is within you. What does it mean? It is Atma Jnana. Kingdom of God means heaven is within you. Dhito guhayam parame vyoman. Saparyagat shukramagayam avranam masnavigam shab. Shuddham apapavidham kavirmashi paribhusvayam bhur. Yadha tajjato ardhan yadadhaschat shashvatibhyas samabhyah. Now he is explaining the nature of that supreme being. Pure, shukram, pariyag, shukram, akayam, formless. Obviously, name and form, body, space and time are much lower level. This ultimate reality is above all this. Avranam, asnavigam, apapavidham, shuddham, apapavidham, pure. Obviously, it will be pure. Apapavidham, it is beyond sin, sinfulness. Because we are living in sin. Papatma, papasambha, papagam. We perform the pradakshinam, because we are talking sin, we are thinking sin, we are behaving sin, we are believing sin, we are living in sin. So, but this ultimate truth is sinless. Apapavidham. Kavi is full of knowledge. Kavir manishi paribhu swayambhu. Yadha tadjato ardhan yadadha shashvati bhyas samabhyah. So those who realize this can live permanent and live a life of permanence. Paradise, heaven, moksha is all one and the same. अंधं प्रविशन्ति ये अविद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उद्याव्रताः अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति सुश्रुमधीराणां येन तद्विचक्षिरे विद्यां च अविद्यां च यत्तद्वेदो वयं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्यया अमृतमश्नुते विद्या Vidya means not ordinary vidyas, Brahma Vidya, the supreme knowledge, which is explained here in the Bhagavad Gita, in every Upanishad, in the Vedas. That supreme Vidya, if you acquire that, you become immortal. If you live in avidya, you are mortal. You suffer from misery, delusion, bandha. Avidyaya mrutyum tirtva vidyaya mrutamasnute. What does it mean? You may be able to transcend, postpone, extend your life by avidya, by medicines, by exercise, by yoga, this, that. You may go on extending, but you cannot become immortal. You become immortal only with vidya, brahmajnana. Vidyam cha vidyam cha yastad vedo bhayam saha avidyaya mrutyum tetva vidyaya amrutamasnute andhantam pravishanti ye sambhuti upasate. Those who perform upasana on objects, they will reach darkness. Sambhuti is artificially created objects. That means your money, your mobile phone, your credit card, all these are sambhuti, they are created objects. Andhattama pravishanti ye sambhuti upasate tato bhuya vetamo yati anyadahu sambhavad anyadahu asambhavad suskrama yenastad vichachakshire sambhutincha vinashancha yastad vedo vayam saha vinashena mrutyum tirtva sambhutyamrutamashnuते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापहितं मुखं सुखं मुखं तत् पोषण्महं सत्य धर्माय दृष्टये. There is a golden vessel and the truth is hidden in it. Those who realize this truth, they will understand the benefit for the purpose of Satya and Dharma. Why are we telling all this? Are we mad? This is the only way. Realization of oneness is the only way you can live a life of love, immortal love, and your own immortality. If you don't have this knowledge, if you escape from this divine Brahmajnana Vidya, then you will see what is happening in the universe. The Abrahamic religions are so superficial, they are not able to create any impact on the people who are getting into deep levels of problems, of conflicts, destruction, war, killing. In our daily lives also, we suffer a lot of problems. Ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamatsari. All these are coming out of avidya, lack of this supreme knowledge which we are explaining here. पूषण्ये कर्षेयमसूर्य प्राजापत्यव्यूहरश्मीन् समूह तेजो यत्ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि यो असावासो पुरुषः सोहमस्मि. Soham, I am that. I am that Purusha. I am that Brahman. Soham meditation we'll be doing later in the third month in yoga course. I am he. I am that. वायुरनिलममृतमधेम तस्मात् शरीरम ओम कृतोस्मर कृतं स्मर कृतोस्मर कृतं स्मर. Remember again what has been told. अग्नेन सुपधाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वैवानि विद्वान् ययोध्यस्म युहुराणमेवो भूयिष्ठान्ते तममुक्तिं विधेम. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So this realization of oneness, Purna, will result in Shanti, peace, world peace. 3 levels of peace. Adhibhautika, Adhidevika and Adhyatmika. Physical level, natural level, and spiritual level. Adhyatmika is spiritual and psychological. Within myself, I should be at peace. The universe, the Adhidevika, the cyclones and earthquakes and all that, they should not come. They should be calm. And the physical level, third, 3 times Shanti is mentioned. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Now we can open up for any questions or answers. How much time we have?
We have 15 minutes.
Okay. Anybody wants to ask any question, please raise your hand digitally. Any questions in the chat box?
No questions in the chat box.
Okay, I'm opening. I have unmuted all of you. There is one question in the chat
Okay.
box.
You can, my supplying is not required. You can just go and get Upanishads book. Ramakrishna Maharaj has Upanishads book. Somebody put a message saying I should supply the Upanishad slokas. Upanishads are very famous. It is there on internet. You can go to Ramakrishna Maharaj bookshop and buy Upanishads books. You cannot get this 108 Upanishads book. It's very impossible to get. But the 8 Upanishads, 10 Upanishads, you will get it in the Ramakrishna Mission. We are basically following Ramakrishna Mission kind of approach. I was brought up in Ramakrishna.
గురువార తెలుగు పబ్లికేషన్ ఎవరిదండి? అష్టోప్
Sorry?
108 తెలుగులో చూపిస్తున్నా. తెలుగు పబ్లికేషన్ ఎవరండి?
Yes. ఇది దొరకదు ఎక్కడ. It's very difficult to get. It's out of print. But you can try in Sri Rama Publishers near Begum Bazaar, Siddhambar Bazaar, Sri Rama Book Depot. If at all they have the old stock, I got it the old stock book only. If there are no questions, I will cover one more Upanishad. Then Upanishad.
Okay.
Samavediya Kenopanishad. The Kenopanishad is the Samaveda Upanishad. Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranas chakshusrotramadhobalam indriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahmopanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate ya upanishatsu dharmaste mayi santu te mayi santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the Shanti mantra of Samaveda. Apyayantu mamangani. All the parts of my body may all be energized. Apyayantu means apyaya, energization. Vak, pranaha, chakshuhu, srotram, adhobalam, indriyani cha sarvani, sarvam brahmopanishadam. And everything is closely connected to Brahman. Mama Brahma nirakarot. May the Brahman not reject me, and may I not reject Brahman. Anirakaranamastu, anirakaranamastu. Tadatmani nirate. May I be established in self. If you are established in self, that is enough. Ya Upanishads dharmaste mayi santu. Whatever dharmas are explained in the Upanishads, get all those into me. Santu, te mayi santu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Because you are not asking questions, somebody else is asking questions here. Om Keneshitam Patati Preshitam Manaha. What makes the mind work? Kena Prana Pradhama Praiti Yuktaha. What makes the breath work? Live, life force. What makes the mind work? What makes the breath work? Keneshitam Vachamimam Vadanti. What makes the speech work? Chakshosrotram Kaudevo Yunakti. What makes the eyes work? What makes the ears work? The answer is immediately given. It is related to the previous Upanishad answer. Srotrasya Srotram, the ear of the ear. Anaso Manova, the mind of the mind. Yad Vacho Havacham, the speech of the speech. Sau Pranasya Pranaha, the breath of the breath. Chakshuscha Chakshuhu, the eye of the eye. Atimuchya Dhiraha, having understood, having acquired, having reached that which is the mind of the mind, which is the eye of the eye, which is the ear of the ear. That means that which is behind all this, the unmanifest, whose manifestation is this universe. Those who understand that, Atimuchya Dhi, those courageous Dhiras, Pretyasman Lokan Amruta Bhavanti, they leave this world and become immortal. Same thing we told the previous Upanishad. न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाग्गच्छति नो मनो न विद्मो न विजानीमो यथैव तदनुस्यादन्यदेव तद्विदिता ततो अविदादधीति सुषुम्ना येन तद्गच्छचक्षुरे. That which is the source of all this cannot be reached by mind, cannot be reached by speech, cannot be reached by the eyes, cannot be reached by the ears. That means it cannot be seen. A lot of people ask, show me God, show me God. Show me God cannot be shown. It is not visible thing. It cannot be heard. It cannot be even thought. It cannot be even perceived, imagined. Na tatra chakshur gacchati na vaggacchati no mano na vidmo na vijanimo yadhaitad anusishyadanyadeva tadvidita tadho avidita dadhi. If somebody says, I know it, he doesn't know it. Iti susruma purvesham yenastad vyachachakshire yadvachanabhyutam. That which cannot be manifest by the speech, words. Yena vagabhyudyate, but that which causes the speech to manifest. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, know that to be Brahman. You are that. Nedam yadidam upasate, not what you worship now, money, all that which you worship now. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshunshi pashyanti, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. That which cannot be seen by the eyes, but that which makes the eyes see, know that to be the Brahman. Not what you are presently propitiating. Yat pranena praniti yena prana praniyate. That which cannot be made as into life by prana, but that which makes prana as life. Deva brahmatvam vidhi vedam yadidam upasate yadidam manyase suvedeti abhramevapi manam tvam ved brahmano rupam. If you think you know, or you have seen, or you have heard, or you have imagined the Brahman, then you are living in fool's paradise. Yadasyatvam yadasyat trideshaydi amimamsyameva te manye viditam naham manye suvedeti nona vedeti vedacha Yonas tad veda no na vedeti vedacha. If someone says, I know Brahman, he's lying. He doesn't know. But at the same time, I'm talking about myself, let us say, Aham Brahme. If I say I know Brahman, that is not true. If I say I don't know Brahman, that is also not true. Yonas tadveda no na vedeti vedacha. Someone who says I don't know may know, but someone who says I know, he does not. Yasya matam tasya matam. He who has no opinion, matam, he has the real knowledge. Matam yasya navedasaha. He who is propagating a particular matam, an abhimatam, an opinion, a missionary, is a fraud. He doesn't know anything. Avijñātam vijānatam, vijñātam avijānatam. This subject is unknown to those who think they know, and it may be known to those who think they don't know, because it is not a subject of knowing and not knowing through the mind. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viyam vidyaya vindate amrutam. The Brahma Vidya, Brahma Jnana will lead to immortality. Iham cheda vedi tasas satyamastita chedi vedin mahati vinashtihi bhuteshu bhuteshu vichintya dhira pretyasman lokad amruta bhavanti. Dhira, the courageous, successful people will see that oneness in everything, in every single item. So this is Kena Upanishad, the first part. The second part, they have explained the same thing, how the Brahman is not any of the devatas like Agni, Vayu, Varuna. Each one will say that they are not, but they are part of it. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. Indram mitram varunam matarishvam suparno vagartma. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. Even though that Sat, truth, Brahman is the ultimate only one, it appears to be many. It is interpreted as many. Each of these many is a window. Each devata is a window to the Supreme Parabrahma. Each object in this world, each individual in this world, each devata tattvam like Agni, Vayu, Varuna, all these devatas are all amshas of the Parabrahma, Om, Purnam. So I finished today's class. Now, how many minutes are left? Let us have free and fair discussion. This is very profound statement I am giving. No, photos of text and all is going to be very meaningless. You just go and buy a book on Upanishads, you might be already having, or download in the internet. This is very famous. Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita are very famous. No point in giving you photos or any such thing. Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads both are very famous. You just get anywhere in the internet or in the bookshops. Get the Upanishads book. Two Upanishads we have covered, Ishavasya Upanishad and Kena Upanishad, number 1 and number 2.
There is one question. Is there any concept of unified force in science?
Yeah. So unified field theory was being attempted to be developed by Einstein himself, where he tried to integrate the weak forces and the strong forces, gravitation, electromagnetic. So he died while developing it. So we are talking of a situation where beyond that we are talking about. That is beyond the Einstein theory of relativity. We have the consciousness of quantum theory, which is known as self in the Sanskrit literature. Chit. So Satchidananda is the nature of the ultimate. What I am telling is unified theory.
Okay. Anybody else wants to ask any question?
The subject is quite deep. It is most scientific as well as most philosophical and abstract and occult, mystical and everything. So that's why people adopt mystical methods, meditation, dhyana, realization. So through physics, I have explained. No other person will explain like what I explained today, because all other persons who teach these subjects don't know science or physics. So they cannot explain in this way. I have explained it in many forums. They have told, or only I am able to explain Advaita in terms of modern physics. Advaita means non-duality, oneness. So oneness, everybody will accept. Even Muslims will say one God like that, without knowing what it is. And even Christians will say one God, without knowing what it is. They will be reducing that Purna to a simple man or a simple thing or some such thing, because of ignorance. Not only they, even among Hindus, most of the people cannot understand. They will simply talk in a very crude manner. Yes, Ramesh.
Sir, Jagat Mithyam అన్నారు చూసారా? In
Yes.
that, one of the interpretations that recently in one of the lectures, what I guess Madam గారు చెప్పారు అనుకుంటాను, that it does not mean that it does not exist. It is just that it is your understanding of what it is not there.
That's
The
what I'm
object-
saying. It is the same thing. This subject is very abstract, very complex. It is not going to be final word by one madam saying something, another person saying something. It is not like that. See, if you look at the Dakshinamurti Stotram, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutam Yadha Nidraya. It appears to be outside. Actually, it is inside. So your own internal simulated mental images are projected outside by yourself to have your own universe. Every individual has a different universe. Please note this. No two individuals, no two living beings can see the same universe. A dog sees a different universe. A cat can see in darkness also. And bat sees a different universe. Every human being is a different universe. Because it is based on the impulses inside his own mind, samskaras projected outside. So it is a very difficult, complex subject. It is mithya, it is maya, it is not what you think, and it is not what I think or not what he thinks also. So what is ultimate truth is Om, Parabrahm. The rest is all manifested individual realities, so-called realities. So all experience of so-called reality is a conditioning of the consciousness. And the true nature of the reality cannot be known or experienced until and unless all conditioning is eliminated. These are 4 sentences which I have discovered on my own. They are my own sentences. The third sentence is the true nature of the consciousness. The next question is, who am I? First question is, what is universe? Next question is, who am I? That answer, I am Laya, Pullaya, X, Y, Z, is also based on condition. The true nature of the consciousness also cannot be known or experienced unless and until all conditioning is eliminated. And the fourth sentence is, if and when, if at all conditioning is eliminated, the true nature of the reality and the true nature of the consciousness have to merge into one, because there cannot be two. Two itself is conditioned. So these 4 sentences are universal philosophical framework out of which you can derive Advaita, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, Bauddha, Jaina, Charvaka, ISKCON, every framework you can derive. Like the so-called conditioning is called Maya in Vedanta. And the so-called conditioning is called Chitta in Yoga. It is called something else somewhere else. It's called Radha in ISKCON. So it is the same. These are the 4 independent sentences without any terminology. So you can note down later also, I can tell you later also. This is it's a very deep subject. It's a philosophical subject. Most abstract. Brahma Vidya. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And we will continue the question answer session tomorrow also. We have 3 days for Upanishads. Thank you. For today, shall we go for Prarthana, sir?
Yes.
ఓకే, జయశ్రీ గారు ప్లీజ్ చాంట్ ప్రార్థన.
ధన్యవాదాలు గురువు గారు. స్వస్తి ప్రజాభ్యః పరిపాలయంతాం న్యాయేన మార్గేణ మహీం మహీషాః గోబ్రాహ్మణేభ్యశ్చ శుభమస్తు నిత్యం. లోకాః సమస్తాః సుఖినో భవంతు. కాలే వర్షతు పర్జన్యః పృథివీ సస్యశాలినీ. దేశోऽयं క్షోభరహితో బ్రాహ్మణः సంతు నిర్భయాः. అపుత్రాः పుత్రిణः సంతు పుత్రిణः సంతు పౌత్రిణः. అధనాः సధనాः సంతు జీవంతు శరదాం శతం. సత్యం వద ధర్మం చర స్వాధ్యాయాన్ మా ప్రమదః. సర్వే భవంతు సుఖినః సర్వే సంతు నిరామయాః. సర్వే భద్రాణి పశ్యంతు మా కశ్చిద్ దుఃఖభాగ్ భవేత్. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. ఓం పూర్ణమదః పూర్ణమిదం పూర్ణాత్ పూర్ణముదచ్యతే పూర్ణస్య పూర్ణమాదాయ పూర్ణమేవావశిష్యతే. ఓం శాంతి శాంతి శాంతి. సర్వే జనా సుఖినో భవంతు. స్వస్తి. ధన్యవాదాలు గురుగారు.
ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు. నౌ ఫర్ నేషనల్ యాంథమ్. చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు ప్లీజ్.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा. विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा. तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे. गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय जय.
ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు.